Okay, so today we are folding signatures and poking holes. You need paper. We're using printer paper because it's paper. 8.5 by 11 is what the books are set to. And so the first step is you take the paper and then you fold it in half. And I'm using this just because it's easier to press on and so you can see. And then you can use a tongue depressor or anything hard and you're just creasing the edges. And what you're going to do is you're going to put them into sets of 6 for each signature. And then you're going to make a total of, this is only 4, but you're going to make a total of 6 of them. Yeah. And that will give us, I did the math, it's like 72 pages per book. And that is the first step. And then once you have all of that, you're going to want to make a template like this. So what I did was I took a ruler, and these are 8.5. So I went 3/4 on each end, and then
1/4.
no,
Okay.
3/4. Yeah, 3/4 on each end, and then so I set it to 3/4. Here, get rid of this. Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of see, and then I marked. There we go. I marked every inch. So there'll be 8 1-inch apart. Let me see if I can.
Awesome, I'm so glad to see you.
One sec. There we go. No. Yes? Yeah. So they're 8 1-inch apart. Though when I lifted it, I think they moved a little. So basically, when you do this to any paper, you take the length minus the end areas because you want to have a little bit of an area on each end.
Might as well just keep coming around.
And then you divide it into whatever number of holes you want. You want to, I did an even number because I don't want to do math, but you can do any number of holes as long as it's enough to keep them from moving. The signature number is usually even, but it can change with the thickness of the paper. So in this, you can see it's not going to be even. It's hard to see on camera, sorry. But the pages won't line up perfectly even. The thicker pages, you're going to want less pages per signature. So once you have your little measuring thing and 6 signatures, you put them together as, let's see, I'm going to stack them together. Put this on top, make sure everything's as even as possible. And then you're going to want to take probably a ruler ideally, but you can really use any straight thing. And normally you would be pressing down, but I'm doing this so you can see it. I will go over this for the people who just came in. I need a pencil, and you'll line it up with the mark like that, and you're just gonna go down it. So each one is marked like that. So once they're all marked, what you're gonna wanna do is very lightly, like write a 1 in the corner, and then a 2, and a 3, and 4, all the way to the 6, just so you know what order they go in, because that'll help it to lay flatter, because your marks will never be perfectly straight, no matter how much you try. And then because you're at home, you'll be using whatever sharp pointy object you have. So like a needle, a nail. We're using awls. And I will show you how. You're going to want to have something underneath it. I'm using a piece of plywood, but you can use cardboard. Just make sure you're not going all the way through to whatever underneath, unless you're fine with that. And then you open it up so it's flat, but you put it down so you can see the mark, which unfortunately is hard for you to see. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna put the point of whatever you're doing and then just stab it. So, I'm sorry you can't see very well, but you'll have a little hole like that. And you're gonna wanna go through all the way down on all of the signatures, doing that same thing.
Can I say something?
Yes.
When you make those holes, you wanna make sure they're not real big, but they have to be big enough for a needle and thread to go through.
Yeah, we can always make them bigger once you're here, for the sewing bit, or once you start the sewing bit. But you cannot make a hole smaller. I've never figured that one out. So that will be the step. And if you did your signatures at home, I will restart the recording once I am at that point. So. With your books, generally you're probably gonna wanna put the marks on the outside because holes, mark, I did one of these holes. Holes kind of go funky when you stab them. There's a little bit of tear out, which you cannot see on camera, unfortunately. Not significant, but ideally you wanna go through the front into the back, because this side will be covered. But, as you can see, there is a significant difference in the colors, so if you can't get the pencil marks to show up, you can just flip it and do it on the other side. It's not going to be a significant difference. See? So to make the holes on your your covers, you're gonna want to use the template paper you have, and honestly, eyeball center, because nothing is people can't, it's gonna be a bit off no matter what, so you just kind of want to eyeball center it. And then in this case, I can tell you we're going about 1/2 centimeter in, but honestly, it doesn't matter that much. You just don't want to go super close because, Grandma, here's the other book. Because, I'll show you here. Yeah, if you can see, it'll come out.
It was too close to the edge.
It was too close and really wet, because this was also very wet, it just broke.
Fold right through the
Completely.
cover.
So we're gonna go 1/2 centimeter in, because that is a number I can give you, but technically it's just whatever you center to. And then if I can get this to stop moving as I'm trying to mark it, we're gonna take a pencil and I'm just gonna do like a little dot or something. I would ideally use a pencil, or you could use chalk, I guess. Just something that'll be removable if you mess up, because the one time you don't use something removable is the time you're gonna need it. Okay, and then once you have all the marks, which unfortunately you cannot see very well, but I've made them, I promise. You're going to want to take your stabby, line it up as close as possible, and stab. So I will do this. And with our the covers we've made here, we're gonna just do it one cover at a time because of how thick they are. But if you have pretty thin covers, you could do it both. I would still probably do one. It'll be more exact. Okay, now that I've successfully done that, I will. Yeah, I did go far enough. So you can kind of see, I'm sorry that it's hard for you to see on the camera.
Can you mark it?
No, it's not gonna show up well, but there is a little bit of tear out.
What if you stick this through that hole?
No, I'm just darkening it with a pencil. So here, I've darkened it by coloring over it, wrong way. So there's a little bit of tear out, not a significant amount, but that's why we're going in. But honestly, it's not that big a deal. And damn, these are really close. So you just want to make sure you go all the way through. Once you have made the first marks, you can also go back and do it on the other side. So this is the one I've done on both sides. You can see it clear on, yeah, you can see it quite well, as opposed to there's one here that you really can't see. But if I go through and I carefully mark both sides, which is rather difficult to do right now, you can see them a lot easier. And it'll help, it'll push the little bit of tear out back into the hole so it looks nicer and flatter, as well as make it easier when we start stitching. I missed a hole. And I'm gonna have an issue with this one because I went too through. Yeah, we'll see. So. But you can always go further in if you don't want to go super close to the edge. It just means that your book will be more towards the, they'll be more aligned with the pages. So once you have the one done, you do it again on the second. And that will be all we are doing today. Next one will be teaching you how to stitch, which is a bit more complicated.
And lots of fun.